Hello, YouTube. Very close to that YouTube camera. All right. Oops. Just one and screw the other one up. I think that'll do. All right. I'm kind of sleepy this morning. 9:30. We're good to go. All right. I got to get myself motivated. Got a lot to do today. So. I was just thinking a little bit of everything. A nice little overall body stretch. Nothing insane one way or another, right? Of course, if you need to make it insane, or if you need to do yoga in the chair, right? It's always up to you. And if I'm just even a motivator to get you on the mat and then you ignore me the rest of the time, that's fine too. Yeah, that's all I got this morning. Half awake. Like I get up really early and then I just sort of chill with some coffee, and sometimes it wakes me up and sometimes it puts me back to sleep. So here we are. But so we're starting seated, obviously. Right. Coming to align the heels to the groin as much as you can. Right. And then taking inner thigh rotation so you feel upright on your pelvis. Remember, you can prop if you need to prop, certainly. And then really just work on sitting nice and tall here. So grounding the sit bones, but lifting the pelvic floor. Pulling the lower belly in and up so we're engaged here, but the upper belly can be a little bit more relaxed. Relax your hips, relax your shoulders, but then grow tall through the crown of your head. So it's kind of all these opposites working together. Closing your eyes if you haven't already. Taking the bottom tips of the ears back, feeling the head in line with the spine. And bringing the awareness to your breath. Noticing at first without changing anything. Making sure you're breathing all through your nose. Gradually begin to expand. Taking the inhales a little bigger. The exhale is a little bit more complete. And maybe for just a moment this morning, let's work the extremes. Right? So gradually get the inhale so big you couldn't take another sip of air. And then you exhale and really empty out. Feel the diaphragm lift, really pushing all of the air out of the bottom lobes of the lungs there. Taking a few of those opposites. Let's do one more of those great big enormous breaths, completely full and then completely empty, which is, relative. And then just find a normal yoga breath. It's a little bigger than your walking around breath. Staying focused on it, we'll add in movement. So like taking the arms out to the sides, inhaling as we reach them up. And then exhaling them back down again. Again. And one more time like that. Inhaling back up. Alive. Inhaling back up here. And then exhale the right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip over here. Staying rooted on your seat, long, bigger spine. And then bringing yourself back to center. Inhale. Take it over to the left. Big breath. Coming back up to the top. One more time to the right. Back to center. And left again. Inhaling middle. Let's exhale, release the arms. Staying nice and tall here, bringing the right hand over to the left knee, left hand behind the back, little baby twist. Still nice and rooted through the pelvis, tall through the spine, and just let this first twist be what it is. Release that one back to the center, take your seconds up. Same idea, nice and easy. Release it back to the middle. We're going to take the first side again a little bit deeper. So use the arms maybe a little more, really pressing into the left hand, pulling with the right, rotating the belly, side ribs, shoulder, maybe your face. We're going to release that back to the middle and take that deeper idea over to the second side here. Take your time working around. And you might find, just like with everything else, right? After a breath or two, you can actually adjust, maybe move in a little deeper, maybe just improve your posture, right? Just kind of check in. It doesn't have to be a static pose, so to speak. Let's release that back to the middle. And then here we're going to take the fingers to interlace behind the lower back. Pull the shoulders together. Nice. Stretch the knuckles to the floor. Right? And then keep that idea as you hinge forward. The hands can lift up off the lower back or not. Nice. Take one more breath here. And on the next inhale, lifting up. Remember to think about which thumb you got on top before you release your hands. And then release the hands and split your feet. So the other foot is in front. Heels still line to the ground as much as you can. And then when you release your fingers behind your back, put your other thumb on top. Knuckles stretch to the floor, and we hinge forward here. One more big breath. And then inhaling as we come back up again. Releasing your hands. Let's stretch those legs out. So taking the legs straight. Try not to lock your knees, of course. Toes point up toward the ceiling. Sitting nice and tall here. The hands, of course, can stay back by your hips or extend toward the ceiling, whatever makes you happy. And then hinging forward from the hip. But you can't hinge forward any further. Let the hands just fall where they fall. Right? Remember that it's not about reaching your toes. The quote is, it's what you learn on the way down. So the shoulders are back, the spine is long, and we just want to start to let those hamstrings relax a little bit. We're going to take one more nice big breath. With the next inhale, hinge it back up again. Release the hands. And we're going to come around onto hands and knees. All right, so spreading the fingers nice and wide. Feel even on the four corners of your hands. Right? You can have the hands a little forward if that helps your shoulders or your wrists. Right? You can cushion your hands a little bit if that's an issue. Knees under hips, same idea. Cushion if you need cushion. And then just some cat-cows. So with an inhale, drop your belly. And exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling. So working that simply, right? Or maybe working a little bit deeper. And as you inhale here, think turning your tailbone towards the ceiling. And then drop your belly button, then drop your chest, pull your shoulder blades together, and then move forward. Exhale, drop your head, spread your shoulder blades wide, arch your spine, tuck your tailbone. So all the way up the spine as you inhale. And then back down as you exhale. Sometimes it does that. So taking just a few flows like that and see where your spine is like, oh, I can't do that by itself, right? Or less of it by itself. Once more. And then find the middle. So from our middle here, we're going to take the right hand palm up and leave it underneath. You can drop down just to the elbow, kind of right in the middle of your mat, ideally. Or you can continue to reach over and drop your shoulder in that same spot in the middle, right? So we don't want to feel like we're leaning on our head here. So if you're too far forward, you might feel like you're leaning forward or you're too far back, right? So finding that sweet spot, and we don't want to lean on our head. We want to be all the way down the shoulder. Try to keep the body weight on your knees even, and maybe press into the floor to rotate around in the back twist a little deeper. And you can add all the bells and whistles. You can lift the left arm up toward the ceiling, right? You can wrap it around your back. You can lift your left knee up off the floor. Maybe you lift your toes away from the floor. Any of the pieces, but the idea is to keep the twist, right? So if you feel all squashed up or you feel like this left shoulder is falling forward, take a step back and start over. We're going to take one more breath in whatever variation you're in. And then release what you got and make your way back into that all fours position. Take your time, right? Especially when you're balancing. If you rush things, a lot of times you can end up on your bottom. Right. So second side, same idea. Maybe it looks the same, maybe it doesn't. So we take either the elbow to the floor or all the way down to the shoulder. And then adding on the pieces that you want. Sometimes just pressing into the floor gives you a better sensation through your spine or whatever it might be. Some days the balance is good, some days it's less. Adding in the pieces that work over here. We're going to release this side and make your way back to all fours again. Go ahead and take yourself back into a child's pose. Stretch the arms out long in front and feel as if you're really sitting your hips back, lengthening all the way from your fingertips to your tailbone. Extending the arms nice and long, grounding the four corners of the hands again, and making your way up into down dog. So wiggling, stretching, moving, shifting in and out. Thinking about the four corners of your hands so that you feel nice and even and steady. And then just letting yourself settle into it. From here, lifting the right leg. Let's go ahead and open up the hip, take the toes to the ceiling. Sink your left heel at the same time. You can bend the knee if you want to bend the knee here, keeping the chest rotated toward your left leg rather than toward the right side of your mat. Does that make sense? We're going to release that side. And then switch, lifting your left. The hip open. Toes reach to the ceiling, that right heel reaches to the floor. Doesn't have to actually touch either of those things, of course. And then release it back to your down dog. Let's go ahead and step the right foot forward for lunge. I'm going to drop the back knee. So wiggling the toes up so that the knee is already ankle here. Right? Shifting around into the hips a little bit. Finding your center, pulling the legs toward each other. Take the right leg straighter. And remember, if you need to cushion your left knee, or you want that knee away from the floor, same thing. Listening to what your body needs from you from day to day. Let's bend the knee, shift the hips forward and down, lifting the spine tall. Adding in your twist here, so simply bringing the right hand to the hip and rotating the belly. You can do fancy, maybe reach that right hand behind the back, over toward your left hip-ish. Right? But the idea is to keep the twist, right, rather than where the hand might. Release the twist. Take the leg straight again. And then bend back into the knee. For a moment here, come up off the left knee if you weren't already. Okay. This time, roll forward over your left toes and then take that knee to the floor. So your knee and ankle or heel really here are a little closer together than they were before, probably, right? And this right knee is probably forward of your toes even. So think sinking into your right heel, pulling your legs toward each other so your pelvis is still pretty square to the top of the mat. You can stay on the floor, right, with your hands on the floor, or you can climb up. So it brings you more to the top of your knee rather than right on the kneecap itself, hopefully. Again, if you need some cushion, you need some cushion. So we want to think really sinking into the hips here. For fun, see if you can lift your left foot off the floor. And then maybe your left hand can find your left foot. Ooh, without a cramp. That was fun. So it's wobbly, but you get this really great quad stretch, yeah? Gently release what you got. Make your way back to a down dog. And then we're going to switch sides. So bring the left foot forward. At first, toes all the way up there. Right knee on the floor, cushion to your core if you need. Wiggling and shifting as much as you need into your hips. And then bringing it into that center as you take the left leg straight-ish. Bending back into the knee. Keeping the hips nice and square as we add a twist in. Left hand maybe coming to the hip, maybe rotating behind the back. Over the head. Well, toward the ceiling is really what I mean with that. Release your twist. Take the leg straight again. And then bend back into the knee. Come off your right knee. Roll forward over the toes and then drop the right knee again. Cushioned if it needs to be cushioned. Sink low into your hips and think sinking that left heel especially. Leaving the fingertips on the floor sometimes is where it is. Or climbing up. And if that's not enough fun, you add lifting the right toes. And maybe the right hand finds that foot. Gripping maybe. Gently releasing what you got. Making your way back to down dog again. Let's go ahead and slide forward into a plank and just hold plank. Take knees if you need knees. Keeping the elbows in tight to the sides as you lower down to the floor. Maybe everything touches the floor together. Hands next to the side ribs, hugging those elbows in, right? And then with the breath here, on the inhale, roll the shoulders up, together, down from hip bones, exhale, release it. Nice, easy shoulder rolls. Take a few. And the next time that you're curled up, stay there. All back and shoulders, right? No hands. Gently release it. Pressing into the knees so it feels like you're lifting your lower belly. Keep that action in the lower belly so that when you lift up, you can lift everything up off the floor together. And take it back to a child's pose. Let's lift back to down dog. Walking the hands forward, we're coming to standing fold. Feet hip bone distance apart. Bringing the hands up to the thighs, we're going to lift the upper body parallel-ish to the floor. Keeping the shoulders back, the belly's working, leaning on the legs as much as you need to lean. It's not going to matter a whole bunch here. Elbows up to the sides. And then bend into the knees and find chair. So we want to drop into the hips, but we want to keep the chest lifted. So it's easy to go low if you collapse your chest toward your knees, but we're not done. So of course, hanging on if you need to hang on, coming center if you'd like. You can extend the arms if you want to here as well. And then we're going to add on. So lifting this left foot off the floor, cross it over the right as if you're crossing your legs sitting down. And if you can hook your left toes behind your right calf, feel free. Keep sinking into your hips here. Lifting the chest. Without touching the floor, maybe, release your left leg and kick it behind you for a warrior three. So parallel-ish to the floor, the right leg is straight-ish, your upper body is parallel to the floor-ish. Take the right hand to the floor if it's not already. Bring your left hand to your hip. You can take it behind your back, of course, again, if you'd like. And then we're going to stack the left hip on top of the right. For half moon here. And then go back the way you came in. So drop your hip. Lift your right hand. Back to warrior three. And then bend your left knee. Sitting up, wrapping the left leg around the right. Is your right leg getting tired yet? Release your left foot. Take it over into a fold. Hang out for a second, bend into the knees, shift your hips, whatever feels good, sort of release all that. And so now you know where we're going, isn't it fun? Moving in like we did last time. So feet hip bone distance apart, hands up to the thighs. We're lifting the upper body parallel to the floor. Bending into the knees and finding chair. Let's go. On the way to the left, take that right leg and wrap it around. Take the right leg back for warrior three. Left hand to the floor, right hand to the hip, opening that hip, half moon. And then reverse it, dropping the hip, finding what warrior three looks like. Sometimes that's still the hand on the floor. Lifting the upper body, come back into that eagle or balanced chair or whatever you want to call this. Release the right foot back to chair and then forward into your fold again. Let yourself hang, bend into the knees, shift into the hips. Maybe grab opposite elbow here and just, again, really let your head and neck relax. Morning. Take it back to down dog. From down dog, come into kneeling plank. We're going to open up into side plank, and we're just going to do a modified for right now. Taking the left foot over to the left and opening the body to the right here. So plain old kneeling side plank. And you can hang out here, you can stretch the right arm, you can lift the right leg. Maybe grab your right foot for that quad stretch like we did a little bit earlier. Okay. Or take the right foot and step behind your body. Okay. Staying up on your toes, kind of kick your tailbone up toward the ceiling. So you're gonna feel your pelvis lift, maybe this right hip draws back a little bit. And then feel as if you're doing the same thing with your shoulders. So whether the hand reaches toward the ceiling or not doesn't matter. Imagine dropping your right shoulder back so that your chest rotates toward the ceiling. Kind of. Release all that. Rotate back into a kneeling plank. So lots of options with that one for similar stretches. Just which one I or not. So right foot then, out to the right, opening the body to the left. And then you decide what fun things to add or not add. One more breath wherever you are. And then release it, making your way back to your kneeling plank. And let's go ahead and drop down for our child's pose. From child's pose, sliding forward, back to the belly. You can always work through a plank and drop down chaturanga there if you'd like. Again, just about how hard you wanna make yourself work. So same idea as our cobra with just using the back muscles. We're going to just use the upper back, shoulders, belly, of course, right? And we're gonna start with our hands down by our sides, like we would in locust. And if you want to, you can interlace the fingers. It's not really the direction we're going, but feel free. Toes stay on the floor, tailbone turns toward the floor. And then we roll our shoulders just like we did in that little baby cobra earlier. So holding here. And let your upper belly be soft so you can breathe, which means you may fall when you exhale a little bit and lift as you inhale. And then release that. If that feels like a boatload of work, maybe hang out with the hands back by your sides. If it's really no big deal, you can hang out forever. Take the hands and make a little pillow for your head. And then you're going to glue your forehead to your hands. So if your head lifts, your hands have to come. And if your hands have to come, your elbows have to come. So toes on the floor, tailbone toward the floor. We do the same thing with the shoulders to curl the upper body away from the floor. Elbows onto the sides, the forehead is touching the hands, and you're breathing, so you may be rising and falling with your breath. If it's horrible, you take your hands back down by your sides. And if it's really that bad, you just drop and release to the floor. Take one more breath. And then release it all. And then, of course, there's one more variation. So you have the options of the hands set back by your sides, a little pillow for your head with your elbows out, or your arms straight, forward, out, whatever. I'm going to say like Superman, but he doesn't have his arms out, does he? I can't remember. Anyway. Anyway, if your head lifts, your arms have to lift as well, right? And together, the whole feeds, yeah? So toes on the floor, tailbone toward the floor, curling to lift the chest away from the floor, and the arms are extended. So here your head is in line with your arms there, yeah? If it's awful, you take your hands to your forehead, or you take them back down by your sides, right? Any of those places. Breathing. And then release it. So one more thing here on the belly, and then we'll be done with it. Pop yourself up onto your forearms. So like we would for Sphinx, right? Elbows in under the shoulders, fingers are pointing forward. That idea of curling the chest, right? So you don't want to just sink. You want to stay lifted with the chest kind of leading forward. This could be enough, but maybe let's add in one of those quad stretches too. So bend the left knee, left hand finds the foot. So you can kick the foot into the hand and get a little extra lift. And if it's really fun, pressing the right hand into the floor, lifting that right elbow away. And then release it. And if you know we did it on one side, we have to do it on the other. So let's go. Popped up on the elbows, forearms, staying here, completely legit. We're bending the right knee. Right hand finds that foot. And you're still facing forward. So if your right hand or your right hip is up off the floor, try to ground it. Pressing the foot into the hands, maybe for some lift, maybe lifting the left elbow up off the floor. Again, any of the pieces, it's a similar stretch. It's just how big, right? Or where you find your stretch. Right? Maybe it's not enough to be down. And maybe it's too much up. So release what you got. Coming back onto the belly. And then pointing your toes toward each other and just kind of rocking your hips. Shake that out. From the shoulder, take the left arm out to the left. Hand in line with the shoulder here. Palm face down. Keeps the hand a little bit closer to where you want it to be. So it doesn't slide. That's all I need. And then if that's enough stretch, you stay. But maybe you can start kind of rolling over to your left. And you stop when you find enough stretch. Release it back to the middle. And switch, taking the right hand out. In line with the shoulder. So if it ends up down by your hips, you want to reset. And again, just move until you find enough stretch. Take one more big breath here. And then release that side. Tucking the arms in. My favorite thing. Roll over onto your back. Don't even have to get up. So find your mat again. Find the alignment of your spine. If you want your legs extended or your feet flat to the floor, whatever feels best. And then just release. That was a lot of work for the back. So just let it go for a second here. And if they're not already, go ahead and take your feet flat to the floor. Bring your feet hip bone distance apart. Heels pretty close to your glutes, not touching. That's a little too close, usually, depending on your body. And you can always adjust. Right? Our bodies are all different lengths, and sometimes your torso is longer or shorter. Absolutely adjust if you feel like you need to adjust in any pose. So here we want to make sure the head and neck stay comfortable. This is another place you are not leaning on your head. It's resting on the floor. Bring your arms tight down your sides. And if that means bending your elbows because you can get them in tighter that way, great, whatever, right? And then you press down into your arms, pull your heels towards your hips to lift your bottom up off the floor. Tailbone tucking toward the knees. Again, head and neck stay comfortable here. And if it's enough, it's enough. Right? Try and keep 4 corners of the feet on the floor, knees over ankles, roughly, yeah. If you want to interlace your fingers behind your back, tuck your shoulder blades together and get a little lift for your chest, you can add that. You can add maybe lifting the left leg, crossing it over the knee, or not. Propping your pelvis up on a block, right? If you want it to be more restful. There are a million options. Take another nice big breath. And then gently release to the floor. And if you did lift one leg and cross it over and all that fancy stuff, you got to do it again so you can do the other leg, right? So sometimes when you add things in, it makes not just extra work then, but extra work after the fact too. Otherwise, just draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a little rock. And then just a little bit of work for the belly. We're going to bring the knees over the hips. Make that lower belly work. If you're feeling this in your lower back, stop and start over or just skip it. Shins parallel to the floor, so there's that 90-degree bend in the knees. For now, let your hands be where they are. Keeping the 90-degree bend in the knee. On the exhale, drop the right heel toward the floor. And then inhale to bring it back up. Switch sides, left heel, and then back to center. So side to side like that. Again, if you're feeling this overly in your back, try and re-engage that lower belly. And if it's still too much, just, again, skip it. You don't want to hurt your lower back just to not be working the abs anyway, right? So get even. One more, right and left. And then hug the knees back into the chest. And of course, just because, one more add-on. Right? Knees over hips, shins parallel to the floor, arms reaching toward the ceiling. Keep the shoulders on the floor. Right? Now, when your right heel moves toward the floor, take your left thumb to the floor overhead. And then inhale, bring it back to center. Switching sides, left heel and right thumb. Try to move with your breath. Smooth and controlled. We're going to go once more on each side. And when you're done, pull into the chest again. Rock, shift, wiggle, whatever feels good. Taking the feet flat to the floor. Let the soles of the feet come together and let your knees drop out to the sides. Release the lower belly, really, really good here. We'll open the arms out into a T position. Super simple. Bring that left knee over to meet the right. And of course, if you want to adjust from here, you are more than welcome to. Otherwise, just nice and easy and gentle. Release the left knee back to the floor. And then switch, bringing the right knee over to meet the left. Dropping the right knee open again. Bring both knees to center. And one more time into the chest. Give them a good squeeze, knees in as tight as you can get them. Forehead toward the knees. And another full body stretch. Releasing the stretch. Finding what Shavasana will look like today. Feeling aligned and comfortable. Releasing your muscles. Releasing control of your breath. Probably most difficult is to release your thoughts. They pop in, let them pop right back out. Staying in Shavasana longer if you choose. Otherwise, gently reawaken the body, deepening your breath. And once you're ready, slowly make your way back to a seated position. Bringing the palms to touch. Bowing your head to your heart. From my heart to yours. Namaste. Good yoga there. So hopefully you have plans for today. Get out there, have some fun. It's nice out today. I don't know about where you are, but enjoy the weekend, and I will see you next week. Okay. Unless something weird happens. All right. Thanks, y'all, for practicing with me. Bye, Ty.